You're funny. Hello, listeners. This is Three Girls, One Track, your Formula One podcast. This is your host, Afsa.
And this is Felicia.
And I'm Bex.
We're here to talk to you very late, sorry, listeners, about the Canadian Grand Prix.
That'll be all right.
Did we kind of forget how this race went? Yes. Are you still going to struggle through us trying to recap it for an hour? Yes. Listen, it's been busy. Love Island's airing every day but hump day. We got a lot going on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Forget
We'll do better. We'll do better.
We'll do better. We'll do better.
To be honest, will we? Because we've said that.
Exactly.
But we're going to jump right into it. We're going to jump into fashion. And everybody, give a hallelujah. Bex has fashion and wants to go first.
Wait. I don't know if I trust her desire to go first.
No,
I don't think I even trust her, but don't worry, listeners. If you hear a sudden jump and then don't hear Bex's fashion, it's because whatever tomfoolery she's about to do, I cut out of the podcast. So, Bex, you can have it.
Yep. There we go. Thank you.
I'm just, because y'all want to be rude, I'm actually going to surprise y'all. So, my what not to wear is going to be Isaac Hajar.
Oh,
I hate this hockey-themed Hugo jumper sweater that he's wearing. I think it's ugly design. I hate that they have this huge Hugo letters across his abdomen, his stomach.
The placement of the Hugo is very strange.
And all these little X's are supposed to be like cross stitches, but it's just X's.
I don't like this.
I don't like it. I think he could have worn something better, or at least
worn a hockey jersey.
I don't even like what.
What prevented him from wearing a hockey jersey?
I know, and I just feel like Hugo. I don't even want to put this on Isaac. Hugo, design better. Better for him, because this is ridiculous.
I mean, because technically Hugo Boss is one of their sponsors.
They are.
So he's like fulfilling his obligation or contract or whatever, but like it's ugly.
It is very ugly.
I really hate the placement of that Hugo. It's hideous.
It is hideous. But moving on to my... This is technically my Project Runway, but it's like half of a Project Runway. My Project Runway is like going to be Yuki Tsunoda in this this Red Bull Letterman jacket. It's really cute. I like it. I like team merch like this. It's really cute. It's really fun. The reason I'm giving it half.
Perfect. Yeah. Step on it. Stay on it, Bex.
It's because it's sponsored by OVO. And I refuse.
OVO?
OVO?
The year of our Lord 2025? A loser brand like OVO?
And did you see what Mr. Aubrey Graham, that's what I'm going to be referring to him from now on. Did you see what he just did this past week?
What did Jimmy do?
When he was out there performing with Morgan Wallen?
No.
Hard PR, Morgan Wallen? Yeah. Just wanted to bring it to the table so everyone can remember. Don't forget.
That's very Aubrey Graham of him.
Very Aubrey Graham of him.
Very Aubrey Graham of him. I had the exact... Bex, I want you to know... I had the exact same lineup. Exactly the same. And I had the exact same reasons for how I thought about him.
We're here.
I saw him and I went, I love a Letterman jacket. I am so pro Letterman jacket. And I will allow it to be your team merch if it's a Letterman jacket because that feels more stylish.
But then you just slide
and then I saw the owl and I went,
yep.
Why is there an owl on this?
Exactly.
And then I looked at his arm and I saw the OV and I went,
oh no.
Oh no. Not OV,
no.
So, and the thing about it is, when did Red Bull partner with...
This past week was the start of their partnership.
Because to be honest though, that does kind of look like a patch that they threw on.
Yes. Because I think I've seen this jacket before.
I think so too.
There's a Red Bull Letterman jacket that I've seen before.
Maybe it was like a different edition of it, and then now, I guess because Drake can't be original, he wanted one too.
Probably.
And the thing about it is very interesting that like V-Carb is obviously the baby brother team to Red Bull.
And they had their whole thing with Drake like a year ago. Not Drake, Kendrick like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Who, V-Carb?
V-Carb had Kendrick perform at their car launch.
Yeah, but no, that's actually what I was gonna get. I was gonna get to like the designers, like Hugo Boss, and how I feel like they just giving V Carb like JV style clothes to wear, and versus like Red Bull that's getting like, you know, cream of the crop.
It's insanity.
It is. But yeah, that's mine. So, Felicia, you want to go?
Yes. I'm going to. I made a little fun for myself because, Jesus guys. So it's the Battle of the Denim over here. So what not to wear is Lando Norris, because why are you wearing this? I don't know if it's supposed to look like distressed or whatever sweatshirt, but it literally looks like it's falling apart.
It's a style.
It's a style. I don't like it.
Wait, can you send it into the chat?
Yeah.
I see him in another. Okay, that one. Yeah.
You see what I mean? I don't like it. You look a little slovenly. It's just not cute. But on the contrary side, with the Canadian tuxedo, we have Sir Lewis Hamilton, which, even though it was not my favorite denim on denim moment, I had to put respect on his name for the Canadian tuxedo.
He wore two. He technically wore two. Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to choose this one.
Yeah, that one's objectively better.
It's much better.
Oh, I did see that one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, you like the one you did for race day.
Yeah, but I like the Canadian tuxedo. The one thing is, why are your pants creased so intensely, sir?
Because he was riding his bike.
Yeah.
No. I mean, he has a straight line crease on his jeans.
Because that's how actual real men iron their pants. Like
it actually is a fashion thing to iron.
Yeah, that's how.
No, it is. It's just in jeans, in denim. I don't like the crease.
That's how you know he is a gentleman and a sir. He's a man of title and rank. With the crease in his pants. He's not like the rest of us. He's here.
And one more thing. The rest of them did it again. They let their girlfriends step out looking like a moment, and they stepped out in their team kits. In their team kits. Just looking regular. Just regular.
To be honest, I think at this point, I don't know if we
can ever. To be expected.
I really think that's going to be the norm. That is the norm from now on.
Because who was it? I feel like it was, Hulkenberg's wife came in looking like a whole entire movie star, and then he had on his steak jacket.
Disappointing as per usual.
Can I make a quick segue since we're still on fashion?
Yes. Make a segue.
Bring up Hulkenberg reminded me. Did y'all see the fashions at the F1 premiere?
Yes.
The F1 movie premiere?
Yes.
And the reason why it came to my mind, you
Go ahead.
Nico Hulkenberg.
Yes.
And you mentioned his wife.
Yes.
And those two don't know how to dress.
Okay.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to talk about Hulkenberg tapping Gabrielle's dick on the red carpet.
I'm sorry.
Not that.
Okay, what's up with these boys in the dick taps? What is wrong with them? Because Lando used to do it all the time. Now, Daniel Ricciardo used to do it all the time. Now this one.
Because they're children.
I don't know. A lot of people have been getting into the steak Sauber Yuri these past few, or Yowie, I should say, these past few
Not the
days.
Yowie.
Listen, the people are shipping Gabby and Hulkenberg. That's all I'm going to say.
Gab and Hulkenberg, really?
Gabrielle Bortoletto.
Maybe.
No. I'm saying they're shipping the two of them.
Well, yes, that would be due to the dick tapping and many other occurrences. I'll pull you a thread on Twitter. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll send you a Twitter thread.
Can we discuss Yuki and his need for a tailor?
Okay, no. We're going to talk about all of them, okay? But, most importantly, we're going to talk about how Yuki is the only one here who has elected to try and be fashionable.
The only one in... Okay,
let's set
the picture.
In the photo.
The photo is of the drivers at Rockefeller Center.
Yes.
The drivers include everyone who attended except Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
So just set the stage, because
Exactly.
I think someone else tried, but it just didn't. Actually, I think 2 other people tried. They just didn't land.
Yes. Now let's be clear here. Charles and Yuki are the only men in this photo who tried to do suit and fashion properly in some way. The look that Yuki is going for is a look that does indeed work and is commonly done.
Yeah.
This guy that I really like, Derek Fashion, on Twitter. We love him. He very commonly critiques menswear. And I want to go find what he said about the F1 driver's photo, because he actually fully picked apart what was wrong with each of these guys. And what he said about Yuki, I'm trying to go find what he said about Yuki, because I thought that it was like exactly what I was talking about, where it's like the large oversized look would look good. Yuki needed to go down like a couple inches on everything.
Yeah.
It's oversized, not swimming. Like, his hem needs to be literally an inch short.
That's why I said his need for a tailor.
But to be honest, too, I also think that's an issue Charles has as well. Like, everything is a little bit too long on him as well.
Yeah, Charles's pants need to be 4 inches short.
And I think his suit jacket needs to come up a little bit.
I don't know if his suit jacket needs to come up. To my understanding,
his legs look so short.
Well, okay. The whole thing with your suit wear is you want your suit jacket to come halfway between you and the floor, right? And so I think that he is around there. I need some measuring. I think he needs to be slightly shorter.
And to be honest,
the suit jacket needs to be a little shorter.
I also think what's also driving me is that the color is off. I hate the shoes with the suit. He has like this, like a beige suit with like a light.
And then it just goes directly to black.
He and Ollie both look like they're going to Easter Sunday.
Ollie? No, Ollie looks like he's taking
Why
dinner.
is Ollie on his toes is what I'm really trying to understand.
Ollie looks like he's going to like...
Ollie's like 6 foot something. Why is that man on his toes?
I don't know.
have no clue.
And then
you know who else?
The person I was thinking about is Esteban Ocon back there in his suit and his tuxedo.
A bow tie on.
He's a full-on tux. Esteban, he's the only one out of this group that actually dressed for the occasion. It just looks bad, but he dressed for the occasion. Everyone else just wore a nice suit. If you understand what I'm saying, like Esteban was like, "I'm going to a big movie premiere. I'm going to dress up."
Yes.
Oh, Bordaletto's on his toes too, so probably
I understand why Bordaletto's on his toes. That makes complete sense. I don't understand why.
He was probably making fun of Bordaletto for being on his toes.
That is true. That is very true. I think overall, like, half of them are dressed inappropriately for the occasion.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Isaac, I love you, my sweet king.
He needed
why
one
do you have these shoes on? Right?
Isaac needed one size down and different shoes.
Yes. Isaac, I don't know why you're dressed this way. Pierre is still dressed medium level appropriate. I don't think a full-length tie is for the red carpet, me personally.
Me neither.
I don't think a full-length tie belongs outside of a boardroom. Whenever I see somebody with a full-length tie...
No. I think a full-length tie is necessary. I feel like a full-length tie is suitable for this situation, but I think not like... He looks like he just left...
Sorry, let me be clear. It is formal enough for the occasion. I don't believe it to be suitable for the occasion, which I think are two different things.
No,
it portrays the level of respect that you want to give to the situation, but it is below the fashion level that is expected of you on a red carpet, which is what makes it unsuitable.
No, I think a full-length tie is suitable. I think the suit is not. Like, if he did like a really cute, like a funky suit with the tie, it would have been fine. If you're
doing a full-length tie, I'm expecting a retro suit out of you. Sure. I want you to give me Italian mafia. I should be scared. I'm going to look your wrong way, and I'm swimming with the fishes. Like, that's when you can wear a full-length tie around me on the red carpet.
Pierre can pull that off?
No, he can't. Which is why I mentioned to never step into a full-length tie. Now, I understand, Pierre. You got a new situation going on. The turkey hair plugs have finally grown in and given you a new look, and you feel like you look, business, corporate, Capitol Hill core, and so that's why you're dressing this way. The way you normally dressed was fine. The way you normally dressed was good. It was good enough. Like, I think he should go back to his old style. I don't know why he's doing this, like, corporate business core suit.
Yeah. It's not. And then my favorite back there, Nico. Nico looked like he stepped out of like Flashdance or something
I don't know what's up
and
with
ended
Nico.
up on
Let's
the
see if I
red
can find
carpet.
specifically Nico's
Yeah,
outfit.
let's see. Hold on.
Oh,
And then
sorry. Yes. I
why?
sent you guys this tweet about
Oh,
why
yeah.
the suits are bad. He broke down everybody.
Yeah, and then for Nico's wife, God help her, she really tried, but it really
I
failed.
didn't see what either of them wore. I didn't really see it. Maybe I did.
It just looked very misplaced. Yeah, like him and his wife, they don't match, which I don't think is a requirement for every couple.
Wait, okay,
but
make it a little bit bigger, cause
yeah, it just looks off.
I don't understand. Like, my thing is,
what is his shirt?
To me, he's going for flashy, gaudy Vegas style with all these shiny metallics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He honestly would have been better off. Go gaudier. The thing is, he's trying to do this half measure where he has on normal black pants, normal black shoes, this weird half golden, light champagne jacket, and then this shirt.
That's like gunmetal silver. Like, I'm like, at least get things that match.
Like, he could have just gone a full champagne colored suit.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, buddy, go shirtless under the jacket. Like, who, at that point, go balls to the wall. Or just wear white like a normal person. Like,
but
what are you doing here?
Yeah, because the gray and then the cream-ish.
There's a lot going on here.
It just don't look right.
It doesn't.
Then, I'm so sorry. His wife, it's too much going on. Like, she has this plunging neckline that starts at her clavicle and ends.
What I'm trying to understand, what I'm trying to understand, is this a cardigan that she put over this dress?
That's what it looks like.
Because I think if she did this without the cardigan, it would be fine.
Oh, that is one of those, what do they call it, a bolero?
It looks
It
like
looks like a bolero.
She was like,
bolero,
got to the car.
Bolero.
She was like, oh my gosh, this is so revealing. Can you grab me a little jacket so I can put on? And that's really what it looks like. Which,
I don't know. But
but yeah, it wouldn't have been bad without it. It would have been better without it.
Yeah, if she hadn't put the thing on top, I think it would have been fine, honestly.
It would have been slinky, it would have been black, it would have been cute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now
That's
that husband of hers, nah. Yeah. We're going to leave that one alone.
Yeah. Listeners.
Oh, but we did kind of forget to actually praise the one person who understood the assignment.
Oh, yes. We have
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Who looked great and actually looked so good that fashion guy who critiqued the outfits, who doesn't know anything about F1, assumed he couldn't be an F1 driver because it was good. He was like, unlike the F1 drivers, these guys looked really nice.
And Lewis was in there.
And
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. He looked really put together, which was nice. And, congrats to you and your movie.
I think it's from his line.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's from his line with Dior, was it?
Ooh,
somebody?
We like that. We like that.
But yeah, they did good. Well, I hope they all enjoyed it. It seems like I am excited to hopefully watch it soon.
Yes.
Y'all will be joining me, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a F1 movie review.
We will.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll see.
We'll give you all our genuine opinions, uncensored.
So, what's going on with F1 news, ladies?
Yeah, what's going on in the world of F1?
Oh, what isn't going on in the world of F1? Ladies,
I have something.
I'll say, Bex, you can go first. I have a couple after you.
So,
I have one quick question, though.
Ugh.
Have we ever established why Lewis's pose is the one with the hand on the stomach?
Because he's pregnant with his eighth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
anyway, continue.
And he's hopefully due to deliver soon.
He's got a long gestation, but that's okay. That means that baby gonna be smart.
Okay. 2026 is the due date.
Mm-hmm.
2026 due date. Heard.
Yes.
I don't know about 2026, but all right.
Hop in, queen.
Damn.
Okay, so it has been announced that Tommy Hilfiger is the new, well, they're partnering with Cadillac Formula One team, which I think is so fitting for them to have, like, obviously, and a very American, like a staple American fashion brand to serve as their, like, as one of their partners. But it looks like they are going to be the official apparel partner for the team. And I believe that they have, Tommy Hilfiger obviously has partnered with other F1 teams, but they are actually the first official partner that's been announced for Cadillac. So that's really nice. I think it'll be interesting to see which drivers that they get. Who's
already signed for,
no,
or I'm sorry, not signed, but like slated
rumored?
to be. Yeah.
Well, rumor. There's no one who signed, but Checo's name is thrown out there, Valtteri's name, Mick Schumacher's name I've heard out there as well.
Mick, really? Okay.
But yeah, so no.
Oh, yes, I did see Mick.
But there are obviously no American drivers that have been announced. But, you know, I actually said when we were talking about it, I think a while ago, I said I thought Ralph Lauren would be the perfect sponsor. But if you don't get Ralph Lauren, I think Tommy Hilfiger is a great
Tommy's
second
a good second, yeah. Maybe
and
they'll bring back Logie Bear.
No. And so, no, like truly, like I just don't think like a new F1
bringing back Logan
wants to take a chance on Logan just to have an American driver. You know? So yeah, they announced it. They're also, I believe, they were involved, I think, I don't know how to say it, but they were involved also with F1 movie, I believe.
Yeah, they made a line for it. Damson Idris was modeling it.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they pop out. Hopefully we get some really nice, cute Tommy Hilfiger Cadillac apparel that maybe we can cop. You know, hopefully it's not crazy expensive like Ferrari over there. But I think the only person I kind of feel bad for is George Russell. Because now that Tommy Hilfiger is officially the Cadillac sponsor, you know, there's no chance for him. There's no chance for Mercedes to get it back. And he's
stuck with Adidas.
Yeah, rocking those tracksuits. He was meant to be a Tommy Hilfiger boy.
He was meant to be a Tommy boy.
But yeah, that's my piece of news that I got for now. Yeah.
Oh, what do you think is the chance of Mercedes getting Ralph Lauren?
No,
damn. I tried.
All right, well, I'll come in with my news. I've got a couple pieces, a couple of fun things for the girls. My first piece of news is that it appears that Kimi Antonelli and George Russell might be signing their extensions.
Because all they could talk about was how George Russell does not have a contract for 2026.
Yes, and supposedly he's going to be signing his extension soon.
Wait, Kimi or George?
Both.
George.
Supposedly. But we'll see. I just wanting us to talk about it. You know, I personally don't think signing your extension means anything.
It doesn't. Look at Checo.
As we all know, Checo had a very much signed contract. And they
really,
still threw his ass to the curb.
2-3 months later?
2-3 months later, that man had a signed contract and they kicked him out. So, a signed contract don't mean nothing to me, George. I promise you right now, Max calls up Toto, it's your ass that's on the block, not Kimi's. So, I'm telling you right now, that contract means nothing to me. But I just want us to keep a watch out for it, just in case there's tea, news, hot heat, whatever. Next up is the streets are saying that Fred Vasseur might lose his job.
So
Freddie Law.
No. Not Uncle Fred.
Yep, the streets are looking like Fred might lose his job.
If I'm being honest, I can see why that's happening.
He hasn't been doing his best
I can
work.
see why. is a potential. The only reason I feel like maybe it's kind of unfair is because I don't feel like he's had enough time at Ferrari to really make the team his own and not having to deal with the remnants of who was it? Mario? Not Mario.
Matteo Bonatti.
Yes, Bonotto.
Yeah,
Bonotto. Sorry.
So yeah, I think he hasn't had like enough time to fully make the team his. But at the same time, for me, there's one thing I can point to that makes me feel like, oh, for this you could get rid of him just on this alone.
Go ahead.
Both of your drivers disqualifying, and you just saying, well, sorry.
You're never going to let that man live that down.
Didn't he say it's not going to be the last time or something like that?
Exactly. Okay. That was a fireable offense then and there. I would not, if they had fired him right after he walked away from that microphone, I'd been like, you deserved it. The one
thing that might save him, depending on how this season ends, the fact that he got Lewis Hamilton to leave Mercedes.
But I think
depending on how the season ends.
No, but I think you can only ride on that for so long. Like Lewis,
but this is the first year. Like he's still trying to gain his footing. You got to give them at least 1 year together.
Do you?
One season. Well,
no, you don't have
to do anything. But I feel like to see if all that money was worth it, you should give them 1 year now. With the way
they made all that money that they spent on Lewis back and then some.
Oh yeah, that and then some. But yeah, you did all this hullabaloo and whatnot, only to then kick out the person who got you the reason that you were able to knock up all this hullabaloo and make. I don't know. I just think that there should at least be a chance for him to keep his job because he has technically done something, but he hasn't been given the chance to do something with the something that he's done. Does that make sense?
No, but I also think that at Ferrari, you actually have to take a step back and see like how much of an influence did Fred Vasseur have in Lewis coming, or was Lewis coming to Ferrari because Lewis wanted to retire, wanted to end his career as a Ferrari driver? The iconic. There's a lot of things that's way, and I just feel like I really don't think it's fair of him to lose his job right now. But I also feel like you haven't been putting in results to keep your job. Like both of your drivers, even Charles is struggling with the car a bit and isn't producing like he was in the past, or like last season, I should say. So
it's the Charles not being able to drive the car is problematic, more so than I think the Lewis of it all. I shouldn't
say he's not driving our car because he can drive the car obviously better than Lewis, and he has less struggles with the car than Lewis.
But you hear him arguing with the pit wall and his engineers the entire race. Well, that too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it's sad that he's on the chopping block, but if you gotta go, you gotta go.
I hope things start to look up for him and maybe he gets to stay at least 1 more year.
We hope.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him.
Because we love our bald king.
We love a bald king.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We can hit our next piece of news. Which is...
I'm sorry, pause. Did I just hear the Teams notification? Whoever has that on, turn it off right now.
That was because this is a brand new laptop and it wants me to finish setting up. I don't know I don't know how to turn that off, but we'll
turn it off. You just triggered me so hard.
Okay. Well, that's not even what my Microsoft Teams ping sounds like, so that you need to get your money up. I don't know.
No, because it sounded like it, though. From over here, I don't know if I just didn't get the full sound or if maybe I'm just traumatized from work, but yeah.
I think you're traumatized. Anyway, my next piece of news, I'm actually going to save what I was going to say next because it's directly related to the race for the end of our news segment. My next piece of news is we finally got word on what the Disney X F1 partnership might amount to be. And a lot of it is things I expected. Merch, cool. A partnership with ESPN, that's how that goes. You know? It's appearing that they will also be doing a Mickey F1 animated series.
Did you squeeze
That's
me?
so cute.
I love your two different reactions, but I agree it's cute. The question that they're not answering for me, what does that mean?
Thank you. It's weird.
Is it gonna be Mickey F1, like Mickey as an F1 driver? And are the F1 drivers gonna make cameos? Like, what's gonna happen in this series?
If that happened, that'd be kind of cute. But what's gonna be like it's just gonna be racist? What's gonna be the in between? What's gonna be the actual content?
She doesn't work for Disney. How's she supposed to know?
Well, what if we play a game? Okay, what do we think is gonna be in this? I think
it's gonna be like. So it'll be like, oh no, Mickey, we left our tires back at the factory. What are we gonna do? Like, it's gonna be like classic, like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but F1. You know?
Which tires should we use?
Exactly. Like, is it gonna teach kids about F1?
What color? They do like Disney, like F1 Kids.
Oh, like is it gonna teach noggin programming or something?
No, like they already have F1 Kids broadcasts, like on certain races.
Yeah,
what if they tie in Disney characters with that? I think that'd be cute.
That would be really cute, but that's not what they said. They said they were making a Mickey F1 animated series.
Okay, whatever. They're gonna be like,
what I want. No, I agree with you. What I want them to make F1 Kids a complete year-long, season-long broadcast. Tie in the Disney, and that way, when everybody keeps saying, but what about the children? I can go, fuck your kids.
They're what we have for the children.
We have
children have their own programming.
That's kind of the point. Children should have their own programming.
And if you don't like the cussing, you go in one room, your kids go in the other room, and you both enjoy the race.
Or go watch the Disney broadcast with your kids.
You know some parents are going to be, well, I want to watch the race without having to deal with
me. You don't like your kid enough to be worried about him watching somebody curse on TV. So
exactly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they pull up. But all right. Next item is Daniel Ricciardo, I believe, has finally exhausted all $22 million of his severance check from McLaren because he has popped up on the feed promoting a sports betting.
Wait, from McLaren?
Yeah, McLaren gave him a $22 million check to buy him out of the team.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, yes, sorry, this is news. But Daniel posts a tweet a couple days ago, on the 18th. I've given retirement a crack, but it's not for me. So I've teamed up with the legends at Dabble to start a tailgate business.
No.
Check it out at dabbledan.com.
Dan?
And it's clearly like a gambling thing. Because then he has to put the obligatory, like, for gambling support, call da-da-da. So, it's like it's like a fantasy sports betting thing that encourages you to, like, bet all the time, right? It's one of the classic ones that, like, has dragged many young men down to gambling addictions. And so everybody's just like, the money ran out that quick?
Yep.
That you needed to go do a gambling sponsorship thing? Because that's crazy.
What do we know what Daniel Ricciardo's, like, annual take-home was? Do we have a general idea at all?
Probably 10. Well, I guess they brought him out his remaining year for $22 million, so probably somewhere in that range.
I'm just saying, you're used to making that every year versus.
I'm not even shading him hardcore. I'm simply saying
a clothing brand.
He owns like a clothing brand that does like a drop like every year, I think.
One of those.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything else. He didn't invest in F1 at all.
I'm sure he did.
I think that this is basically him trying to make sure he has enough money to keep up. I think this is just sort of like, hey, not necessarily I need money right now, but like, I can't just live the lifestyle I've been living on survival of 22 million for the rest of my life. He's like, I need a hustle. This is my hustle.
Listen, I
don't respect it, but I can understand it.
It's a lack of respect.
I have a problem with like the whole sports betting thing.
Well, yeah, because it's
So
problematic.
yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Also, like, is he specifically promoting it for F1 or just any type or just any?
I mean, the tweet did not mention F1, but I didn't watch the commercial that he filmed for it.
It
So
sounds
I'm
like
sure the
it's
commercial
probably
mentioned
all over sports betting.
But I saw
maybe.
him golfing in the commercial. So
Okay.
definitely, yeah, I think it's more than just F1.
Got it.
Yeah, it might be an all over general sports betting.
Yeah, don't respect the hustle, but I can understand it.
Yeah.
Well,
You gotta
respect the
make
hustle, don't respect the hustle he chose. The hustle mentality. The actual hustle he chose to use that mentality for is not it.
No, I said what I said.
Oh, okay.
Literally. But all right. My last piece of news, which will segue us right into the weekend, is I want to address the discussion that occurred amongst George Russell, many other drivers, the reporters, about Max Verstappen. And it was all of the discussion about we're going to goad Max into a penalty because Max is 1 point away from a race ban. Ha 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 ha. We're going to goad him into a penalty. I will find George's exact quote, but TLDR, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to goad him into let me just find the exact quote so we don't have to
something
do
he did
this."
in the race just suddenly made so much sense.
Yes. Let me.
I don't know why I didn't think of it when I was watching it.
Do you know? What was I to say? So, are you taking offense to it?
Let me explain why I take offense in this specific case.
Okay.
Right?
What is it we're taking offense to? Exactly.
I take offense specifically to the combination of the holier than thou approach and this comment. Either one individually, I don't care. Because the thing is, I do care about the holier than thou approach empirically, but I don't care about the comment in a vacuum. I think that's what he should do. I actually do agree that if one of your rivals for a championship spot is on 11 points, you should absolutely try and get him another penalty point in the next race. I think that until Max's points go down, that's absolutely what everybody should be doing. I would do it too for a check. I also am not going around telling everybody that every action they do has to be filtered through the lens of how to be a good role model for children. The children are watching. How could you do that to children? How could you do that to children? How could you do that to children? I don't think it's good for the children to be like, oh, I'm going to make him crash into me so he gets... Like, that's also not good for the children. So my thing is, cut the children talk. Leave the children and the public and your reputation and your legacy and your besmirched, tainted future. Leave all of that out of it. And just come here to play ball, play dirty, get scrappy, and leave it on the track. Why are we playing this game of role models and blah, 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 if every week you're going to change your stance on whether or not you can be a role model, depending on if you want to be that week?
Because it's George Russell.
I mean, yes, and we all know. We know, the reporters know, we all know. But
I'm just saying, it's George Russell. Don't expect, like, sensible acts from George Russell.
Yeah. So it was annoying to me because I just don't.
I don't have anything to add because I definitely don't know if I share the same feelings as y'all.
Go ahead.
What are your feelings, Bex? You can add. What are your feelings?
My feelings are, I don't really see a problem with anything he said, even in combination with there are children watching. I don't think there's that big of an issue with saying, like, hey, we should all try to get him in a position where he gets another penalty point. I think,
but that's so unsporting. Are we supposed to be teaching children not to be sportsmanlike?
No, there's nothing unsportsmanlike about that. That's very much gameplay. Okay, maybe just me, but I watch a lot of sports. That's like trying to get a player on the other team to get their sixth foul. That's just how the game is played.
Gameplay and sportsmanship frequently can separate from each other. There's so many ways that you can be properly doing what it takes to win the game and also being crazy unsportsmanlike. When you're playing basketball and you're like cursing in somebody's face trying to get them to personal foul you, you're well within your rights to do so. If somebody wants to lose their temper because you're goading them and you're like trying to get them to do something,
you're assuming that the only way to get someone to an extra foul or another penalty point is by getting them to lose their cool or blow their top. Nah, it's just, hey, if I make this move, they're going to hit me in the arm. I know that's, and they're going to get a foul. Hey, if I make this move on the track, they're going to do something. That's just, it's not unsportsmanlike.
But how is that sportsmanlike?
Hold on.
It's a game. It's a game. It's a race.
But look, I agree that it's a game. You agree that it's a game.
A lot of people see it as
to not be a game. Spot. You should be playing by these rules that make you look good.
The rules
portray good things to the da-da-da-da.
No, y'all are compounding two different things. I'm so sorry, y'all.
I'm not compounding. I'm trying to stop. What?
Wait. No, you have to wait.
Because y'all just keep going back and forth.
No, I'll just make my last point and I'll let it rest. Playing by the rules, right? That's George's big thing. You have to play by the rules. You have to play by the rules. You have to play by the letter of the law. That's what he's doing. He's playing by the letter of the law by saying, I know the letter of the law says if I make this move and he makes this move, he's going to get an extra penalty point. I am playing by the book within the rules of the game. I understand how the game is played, and I'm going to use the rule book to my advantage to make sure that my opponent is going to suffer some consequences or get hurt. Not hurt like physically, but like hurt like in the like their position, their standing, their points, whatever, penalty points. That's all that it is. It is just understanding the game and playing the game to your advantage. Being unsportsmanlike, I think, would be, I don't know. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. George has done some unsportsmanlike things. What did he do? Was it Valtteri?
Slapping Valtteri upside the head after he crashed him out and almost gave him a concussion?
That's unsportsmanlike, and that's not within the rule book of the game. And I think gamesmanship, for me, all gamesmanship falls within the letter of the law of the game or the race or the sport. When you step outside, that's when I believe it comes like unsportsmanlike. So maybe that's why I just feel like there's absolutely nothing wrong with what George said. There's nothing, even though he wants to stand up here and be like, the children's sake, oh my gosh. I still think he can coexist and not be hypocritical. Sorry.
Felicia was trying to talk, so I'm trying to let Felicia talk.
Because y'all just talk. No, okay, I get it.
When I started talking, that's why I had to. Also, like, let me finish what I'm actually saying.
And here we go again.
But you have to let me finish what I'm saying. So I'm finished. So go.
Because you're saying the same thing over and over again. But I digress. Now,
rude.
My thing is, there isn't like inherently something wrong with him doing what he's doing. What I think everyone's issue is the fact that he's running around saying, yeah, I'm going to go for the weak jab. I'm going to go for the weak spot that's very blatantly here, which is the fact that if he does anything out of line, if he steps out of line even a little bit, he risks getting his penalty point. Sitting there going, yeah, I'm going to intentionally try and fuck him up is really not sportsmanlike. It's really not. Doing it is one thing. That's playing the game, whatever. But instead of saying, hey, I'm going to go out here and do my best. Hey, I'm going to go out here and really just focus on, my race, focus on my thing. I'm going to also sit here and think about what could happen that could fuck him up. And I'm going to make sure that's also on my radar. Why? Worry about your race, George.
But no, that's not how a sport works.
No, but what I'm saying is you're just sitting here telling the whole world that that's your game plan.
Felicia, like, and I don't want to be comparing it to other sports, but I'm like, that's like, okay, you see, like, Draymond Green is on technical foul number 16. If he gets one more technical foul, he's out for the next game.
Sit there.
Wait.
I'm not sitting there in front of the camera saying, hey, guess what? I'm about to make sure that he catches his next one. Why?
Because
go and make sure he catches his next one. Fine. But don't sit here in the cameras going, especially when you are the person that George is. But if you want to take that out, take that out. But don't just sit here saying, my strategy is to fuck him up. Not worry about my
That
race
wasn't his whole
necessarily, but it's to fuck
strategy.
him
But
up.
it was talked about throughout the press that everyone was mentioning that Max was 1 penalty point away. Everyone was talking about it.
I'm not saying worry about everyone. I'm saying George sitting here saying everyone needs to be worried about messing up Max. That's not very sportsmanlike. I'm
I want to
sorry.
be clear. Anybody but George gets into this press conference, and I think that it's like, haha, funny, cool, ha ha ha.
That's why I said George being the person
purely because he
is.
spends so much of his time whenever anybody wrongs him, right? He doesn't just do it to Max. He does it whenever he thinks anybody else, like, does this. Many F1 drivers do this. Toto does this all the time, right? They are naturally massive hypocrites. This is just George's one area of hypocrisy, where if somebody does something that George finds to be not sporting, even if it's in the rule books, right? Even if they don't get a penalty for it, if George thinks it's unsporting, he will pull this is unsportsmanlike, the kids, this setting a bad example for everybody, da-da-da-da. It doesn't actually matter to George whether it's in the rules, it matters to George whether he was wronged. Like, this is the same, like, George has done this numerous times when like, it's something that's like, this is just, like, the tea of the sport, this is what it is, maybe it was a dirty overtake, but it wasn't out of the rules overtake, right? He'll go and say it's unsportsmanlike, it's this, it's that. The only issue I have with it is, if you are gonna sit here and say that there is some moral high standard of which you're setting an example for the future progeny of the world every time you do something, then you gotta stand on business that everything you do is setting a moral standard for the future progeny of the world. I agree with you that it's perfectly within the rule books. I agree with you that it's not even necessarily unsportsmanlike to be like, I gotta get him messed up. But that's not the standard that George holds other people to. And so that's the problem. It's like, that is, in my opinion, the way George acted when he was giving that interview clip is the standard drivers should be held to. I think they should be a little messy. They should work within the rules to fuck each other over a little bit. I'm team, that's what they should be doing. I only take issue with the fact that what George agrees that's what George should be doing. Everybody else, you need to hold yourself to a moral standard I don't hold myself to. And that's my team. I'm like, be messy. Fuck each other up. But you can't go and tell everybody else, like, how dare you do anything that is a little bit dirty and schemy, when being dirty and schemy, like you pointed out, is kind of part of the job.
Basically, the biggest issue behind this is the fact that it's George that's doing it.
Like, if Lando says that, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny if Lando says that.
You're like, yes, that's exactly what Lando's going to do. And
if
even
Oscar says that,
like,
I think it's extremely funny because that's what he should be doing.
That would be hilarious if Oscar said that.
Charles says that? I think Charles actually might have said that, and I thought it was funny.
The fact that it is George makes it all worse, but I still don't like it.
I think the easiest thing for this all is that George just shouldn't have this weird... He needs to stop bringing up the children. If George stops bringing up the children, I'm so here for George. Like, because I agree with George.
If
I
George
think you should try and get him to get that foul.
I'm so here for George.
Like, just stop bringing up the children. Toto, too. Toto pissed me off with bringing up the children. Everybody needs to stop bringing up the children. You guys don't actually care about the children. It's just a very convenient argument point. Lewis used to bring up the children, too, and I thought he was corny as hell for it. I'm like, why are we bringing up the children? This is Formula One. We don't need to bring up the children. Leave the children out.
Why do they always bring the children into it?
I don't know. It's an easy, cheap shot, I think.
That too, yeah. And people are always going to, what about the children?
Yeah, I think it's just an easy, cheap shot. So,
no. Anyway, now that we have ranted about George.
My Princess George.
Princess George is hilarious.
Listen, I love George when he's not bringing up the children. If George would leave the children out of it, I think I'd like him a lot more. But any other news from the baddies? Any other hot popping news segments we got going down?
I don't think so. Did I send y'all? I don't think I sent y'all anything. Yeah.
All right. Well, as we mentioned, we come into this race weekend for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. With Max Verstappen on 11 penalty points. He will remain on 11 penalty points. Spoiler alert, so don't worry, guys. He does not have his race ban for Austria. But we get into qualifying, and I thought this qualifying was actually pretty pretty okay, pretty fun, pretty cool.
Can you remind me about qualifying?
Okay, so, what's the best way to talk about this? This qualifying was pretty good. First thing to be known is that Yuki has a 10 place grid penalty coming into qualifying for passing Oscar Piastri under a red flag in FP3.
Ah, okay.
So that was crazy.
That was
Yeah, that was stupid. Basically, Oscar all but stopped on the track because his car was fucked up, and they said Yuki shouldn't have passed him. Yuki's like, well, he was stopped on the track. So,
and Yuki didn't have enough space to brake or something like that, right?
Yeah, so it was kind of ridiculous, honestly. Not gonna lie.
I remember they played that clip.
Yeah, but oh well. But yeah, so Yuki's already got
yelled at?
penalty. Huh?
Are you being yelled at by one of the little furballs?
No, there was a child outside yelling outside my window. But Yuki got a 10-place grid penalty, and honestly, it's not going crazy. Nothing too crazy is going down. This is one of the tracks where we have the soft end of the tires, I believe. Bex added a note that last year's medium is this year's hard, so they did listen to my complaints.
Yes, they did.
They did. God bless them, and I think it makes things better. I think it makes things
soft, like technically super soft now, or something like that.
They are significantly softer than last year. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the C6.
Yeah,
so that number is like basically the softest tire that they have right now.
Yeah, which is great. Make them softer.
Okay.
I don't know.
But I know
they don't actually make them softer because they don't use the softs. They didn't use the softs at all because the softs were
no one likes the softs. They like the mediums.
For me, I always like when they have like a softer the compound. Yeah, there you go. Because I just personally like it when they have more than one standard pit stop. And then it becomes like I like the undercutting, overcutting.
Exactly.
It's more strategic.
Whatever you can do to make the races at least a 2-stop, I'm
not a Monaco mandatory 2-stop.
No, but you need to make it not mandatory, but highly encouraged.
Yeah.
But
make it encouraged
make it so that it is mandatory, but it's not like a rule. It's just you literally wouldn't make it to the end of the race.
Exactly. Although, with that said, I'm pretty sure there were people who did 50 laps on the hards.
They did. There were multiple people who did 51 laps.
Yeah, so make the tires softer.
C7 or C5? What are we going? Up or down for softer? Is it down?
C7.
C5? Up.
Oh,
so higher the number.
C7.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So just make this year's hards like
your softs? No.
What?
No.
Make this year's soft your hards.
Yes.
Girl, no.
Yes. Make this year's mediums next year's hards.
Hard. Yeah.
Let's slide it up. All right. Well, we're coming in 10-place grid penalty for Yuki, which is stupid. We're starting off. They're doing their little runs. Nothing crazy's happening. And then, for some reason, Alex Albon's car explodes.
Yeah, what happened?
And the bodywork just flies off the side. I still don't understand why that happened.
I've never seen it before.
From what I've gathered, no one really understood what happened. It seemed like tape came off.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were doing. Tape. We all know Williams is a little broke, so maybe
someone said something probably wasn't tightened or something crazy like that.
Yeah. I heard tape.
Oh no! They were saying they hoped it was just human error and not actually like something faulty. That's what it was.
Yes,
but I don't think we ever found out whether it was human error or not. I mean, well, you saw what happened during the race, so.
Yes, we hate it. But that ends up bringing us a red flag. Thankfully, Alex can get back to the pits, so he's still in quali. And Alex just kind of has Carlos's number all the time, but especially in this quali, it was kind of insane how half of his car flew off and he still managed to beat Sainz in qualifying. So
sure did.
her. Love that for you, King. And my next note for quali, as we know, not much happens with quali, so I kind of just ramble on my thoughts. There are laps where Lando is just weirdly bad. Like not even like, I obviously think that Lando, I don't think he's as good as some people think he is, but he is a good driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some laps where I'm like, what happened? Like, nobody's shown me a clip of anything happening during your lap, but you're like a second and a half off of Oscar. How is that possible? Like, what are you doing during these laps? And that's how I felt throughout the entirety of Q1, where I was like, why are you in P12?
Because he just tries to like skirt through until P3 and then throw out of it. Didn't we already just have this conversation about him?
Well, because the thing is, sometimes, like, yeah, but, like, normally it's at least top 5.
Yeah.
Like, he's starting through by being P6 or something.
Yeah, we don't really see Oscar ever, like, Oscar's never really in a place where everyone's like, is he going to make it?
Yeah.
Lando Oscar's always, like, top 5.
Has had quite a few quality sessions where we're all like, what happened? Is he going to make it? Like, Oscar has no trouble easily making it to Q3. Lando struggles at times. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was one race where he did get out,
Q2?
Q2.
No, there was one race where he qualified 17th, wasn't it?
There you go. I thought it was Q3. Q3, yeah.
Wait.
Did my Twitter was wrong that day.
Crazy race where he just
crashed? Was that
no,
what he
so
did?
I think you have two separate races. There was one race where he crashed in Q2.
Okay.
And he ended up, like, 15th. There was another race where straight up, like, something weird happened. Like, he, like, didn't finish a lap or something.
It almost seems like
he bailed out.
No.
Didn't he bail
For
out?
me, from what I've seen with Lando, it seems as though the way he drives is that he's like, oh, it's such a lovely day. And then forget that he's supposed to be, like, racing. Or, sometimes it just seems like he's forgotten, like, what the objective here is. Because you look at his time and you're like, why is he so slow? When he has the fastest car on the grid. And, like, say what you want about Lando and his driving ability and his driving skills, we all know he can perform better.
He can put it on poles. So that's why it's confusing. That's what's confusing. Like, I'm a hater, and I'm sitting there going, like, step up.
It really, like I'm saying, it just looks like he's like, ooh, pretty bird. Just forgets that he's supposed to be, like, racing?
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
But my only other note from Q1 is we have the whole Sainz and Hodger situation, where Sainz is impeded, and listeners, I had quotes around my fingers, impeded by Hodger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's stupid as fuck. And this brings up something that I've always been curious about with F1's, like, impeding rules.
Okay.
Sainz's lap was cooked from turn 2. He fucked up in the first 2 turns, and then, like, kind of aborted, but then eventually kept going.
Yeah.
And then Hodger technically impeded him because it was like, well, obviously he's going slow. We can see that he fucked up his thing, and then all of a sudden he's going fast again. And so it's like, oh, well, he impeded me. It's like, your lap was null and void before you ever came across him. If I'm the FIA, I'm going, you should have aborted that fucking lap immediately. I don't know why you're halfway through the track still trying to do a lap when you're already 3 seconds in.
3 seconds.
It might not have been 3 seconds, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
But, like, that was crazy to me. James Vowles was like, oh my god, he impeded him. I'm like, guys.
Yeah, that was a very irritating part, because they interviewed James Vowles as soon as it happened. And he's just like, and he's like bitching and moaning, and I'm like, I understand supporting your driver.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is
me as a driver from being like, oh, I was just on a really bad fast lap. And he impeded me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that my lap is really slow and could never be a qualifying lap, but I was just having a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
He impeded me. Like, what stops me from speeding up and then slowing down right after I come across a guy who impeded me?
Exactly.
There has to be something. But, like, what prevents that from happening?
And the thing about it is, like, technically, I mean, like, nothing's going to happen to Signs, like, if he claims like he got impeded, but it will fall on Isaac, and it's so hard to defend yourself when it comes to like, something happened to Lewis when he was like, well, I heard someone said you weren't doing a fast lap, things like that. So I think they need to be careful about like people just crying impeding.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Beef, basically. But anyway, out in Q1 we have Gasly in 20th, then Lawson, Stroll, Sainz, and Bortoleto. This will not be the end of disappointment for all of the people that I just named in this race.
Well, Gasly is, not gonna lie, not doing too well.
I know, that's so strange.
The hair plugs didn't help him.
It's because Voldemort came back.
What?
It's because Voldemort came back.
Oh, LOL. Yeah, we know how you feel.
You know how you feel.
All right. Well, we're on to Q2. Not much happened in Q2, so I'm not even going to bother recapping the in Q2 T. As per usual, Q2 for some reason is dead as fuck. But the main things that I have to say about Q2, we already covered that I love when there's the softest compounds, because I like that, like, you could use the soft, but the soft won't last, but it's faster, but you could use the medium, you know? But along with I think that you should play dirty and scrappy no matter what, I don't understand why the fuck Red Bull didn't just have Sonoda impeding bitches left and motherfucking right. Listen, we're not making it out of this Q2. Yuki's gonna be P20 anyway. Damn. Absolutely. I'm having to park his car in front of a McLaren. Are you kidding me? I'm having Yuki park his fucking car in front of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri on these laps just to make sure that they catch an extra like, their last lap, I'm going to have Yuki out there. Parked. Posted. Just to make sure that it fucks up their lap. I've always found that so confusing to me, where I was like, when you know that you're going to have a 10-second, like, a grid penalty that will put you at the back.
Yeah.
The way that they're not purposely menaces in qualifying, I have to believe that there's some, like, larger sports penalty where the director can decide you're being a little shit and then penalize you.
Couldn't they, like, fine the team or something like that?
I think Red Bull would pay $50,000 to have the McLarens out in Q2.
Yes.
That's a small price to pay.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. That made it Q2, Stroll might take him out in turn 1. So
they may be willing to even have Yuki spin out of race.
I don't even know what I was thinking.
Like, that's the thing that's always got me. I'm like, why don't they just use Yuki to fuck up these guys' races?
Especially because not like Yuki's putting up points. So, like, he's going out of race.
For real. I actually did see something that said that without a second driver, Red Bull would still be P4. Without Max Verstappen, Red Bull would be last in the championship.
Damn.
Which is insane.
Red Bull is Max.
They're cooked. But yeah, out in Q2, we have Ocon, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, and Yuki, who will eventually drop right to the back.
Freighto is so just there this season. I don't know. Well, he did just get here.
Yeah, he is sort of there. Right? Literally, the only content I get about Franco is how much he wants Lewis Hamilton. That's the only content I get about him, is how badly he wants Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, poor baby.
All the tweets I see about Franco are just he wants that cookie about Lewis Hamilton. And that's literally it. I meant to put this in the F1 news, but I forgot. Lewis texted into the drivers group chat, hey, does anybody have a flight to England today? And Franco was like, I have a flight to England. Why Franco would have a flight to England? News to me. And Lewis was like, cancel your flight. Come on my private jet with me.
Stuff you find in the depths of F1 social media is
It was all over the time. Y'all don't be on your phones enough. It was all over the timeline the past few days.
So who posted that?
Right.
David Coulthard, I think, was doing an interview with hold up, let me find it. David Coulthard was doing an interview with somebody. Let me see. Franco, Colapinto, Lewis Hamilton Flight.
Let me see if I can find it.
Let's say.
And I used to always think it was Isaac who was like the one that was.
I mean, Isaac is this is the thing that people keep bringing up, which I think is really accurate. Isaac is a Lewis fan.
Mhm.
Isaac is like, I am a fan of Lewis.
Okay.
Colapinto wants that cookie. Colapinto looks at Lewis and is like, you would do it too for a check. You know?
Ooh, she lost it.
Oh my god.
I think I've lost it. Y'all
Colapinto is in love. Colapinto is in love.
Yeah, Colapinto's in love. Isaac is a fan.
Yeah. Franco is like, that's my husband.
Exactly. Whereas Isaac's like, oh my god, like that's my mentor. That's like my legend. That's who I look up to.
Franco said, respectfully, I take that down.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll find it. Okay. But all right, we're into Q3. I mean, Q3 is kind of going. I'm so sorry, guys. I went to go look up Franco Colapinto Lewis Hamilton flight, and before I could click the F, what came after Lewis Hamilton was AO3.
AO3.
The
I know what you mean. You're not into. I know why you don't know, but Asta and I are here. AO3. Yeah.
Oh dear God! Did you just put
Felicia
in the chat?
I don't know if we just talked about Felicia. Her Twilight fanfic never made it to AO3, I guess.
Yeah.
But
No. Sorry.
That's sad as hell.
I went the book route. I went the audiobook route. Sorry.
That's real.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, the Franco Colapinto Lewis Hamilton fanfic is not here. That's crazy. Sorry. Anyway, we get into Q3. Sorry, listeners, we had to take a deep dive down the Yowie train for these two.
How could you not?
But of course, we get into Q3. And so, fun fact, throughout qualifying, me and Bex sometimes will be in the word note together. Okay? So, one of us will type something and the other person will be reacting to it while the other person is typing their next note. And Bex typed, and I quote, because it's the main important thing about Q3. Oh. Lando pisses me off. Why does he need all this hand-holding to do his fucking job? Quote, don't forget to breathe. Eye roll.
I was so annoyed when they're like, don't forget to breathe, Lando. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean don't forget to breathe? Do your fucking job. Like, knowing that my job telling me, Cleo, I know it's stressful, but don't forget to breathe. No. Anyway.
I was just so confused because I don't know who to blame. I almost blame both. Like, I blame Lando and I blame McLaren. Where it's like, honestly, if I'm a driver, get out of my ear. I don't need you telling me remember your brake references.
Yeah.
That's part of driving the car.
That's when you hit the Lewis, leave me to it.
Like, it was just so, like, it was very much like, they were talking to him, like, I don't know if he was a rookie or, like, really young driver. Like, that's something I would expect from, like, Gabriel Bortolano or Isaac Hatcher. I don't know.
But maybe, like, when you go take, like, a fitness class and they're like, remember to breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth. I don't know. I tried. That don't even make sense to me because he's a professional race car driver.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm team, like, go, take the support you need, like, in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Brake references are where I draw the line. Like, remember your brake references? Like, any other reminder that they get, like, engine settings, da-da-da-da, like, your brake references?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was just...
And the commentators were like, oh, it's like his engineer's right there in the cockpit with him. I'm like, is it?
It was just... When I heard that, I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Otherwise, there wasn't really much. George got pole. He was cursing a lot on that radio. That's all I have to say.
Sure.
I ain't even gonna get into it.
Sure.
I heard lots of curse words.
Mm-hmm. There was a good amount of.
Toto, how do you feel about that? No. Toto, how do you feel, Toto? Toto,
What
pipe
about the
up.
children? What about the children?
Toto, do you have something to say? Toto?
Anything? Hello? Senor Wolf?
That's what I'm going to say. Because that actually wasn't George that said anything about the cursing on the radio. That was Toto. So Toto can catch it.
Oh,
I hope Toto goes and speaks to his drivers, since apparently he's got so much to say. But, all right. We can move on, because it's George on pole, Max second, Oscar P3. Lando ended up thank you, P7, somewhere around there. I felt so bad for Charles. I don't understand why he almost crashed so many times, but praying for him.
Charles is
fingers, prayers, all of it. But any other quali thoughts from the baddies before we hit the race?
No, pretty standard quali.
We love it. All right, let's get into the race. Again, me and Bex didn't take many race notes. I'm not going to lie to you. For me, the race starts at lap 67.
To be honest, that's how I feel like. I mean, I think it was a pretty good race, but there was nothing like stand out. Like, I think with the soft
we had a lot of the top 5 swapping as they did their pit stops.
Yeah.
Everybody was on a 2-stop strategy from the front runners, Things didn't change much in terms of the top 5. Russell ahead of Verstappen. Piastri trying to catch Kimi Antonelli for third. Norris managed to make up a couple spaces and was behind Piastri. That was pretty much how the whole race went all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, and honestly, listeners, you don't come here for in-depth race recaps. You have other people for that.
Yes.
We're going to talk about lap 67.
Woo-woo!
We're going to talk about lap 67.
Well,
I want to paint a picture for you guys. I am at my local F1 watch party with my boyfriend and my friend Anthony.
Yes.
And the sound is always a little bit delayed because, as we know, Bluetooth speakers, they operate a little bit of delay.
Yep.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
And me and Anthony, being the keen observers we are, mind you, we're in this place with a lot of Lando fans. So we're already in enemy territory.
Yes.
They've been cheering for every single word that Lando gives the entire time. Every single thing. When Lando overtook Lewis as Lewis was going to the pits, cheers erupted. And so we're paying attention, and I think at this point they have the camera on like max or something, right?
Okay.
And we start to hear audio come through that says something about Oscar Lando, and so we perk our ears up side by side. We're like, okay, something passed. We're like, oh, and then we hear collide, and we look at each other and we go, because it hasn't come on the screen yet for us. For us, they aren't even on the screen yet because it's at like a 10-second delay at this point.
Oh, that's an intense delay. Hold on.
Intense delay. It was a pretty intense delay. And the joy of watching...
You heard about before the actual... Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. The audio for the collision happening occurred before they came on screen to see the battle.
I'm like, before he even passed him?
I'm about to say, because they were battling for...
It was a minute.
I don't know. The audio was really badly delayed. I don't even understand.
We were better off sitting at home.
Honestly, if they didn't give us a free drink every time we went, I'd agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Girl, you have a free drink at home. Child, please.
No, she can't.
Anyway, but the feeling and the exuberance of knowing that I had a Lando Norris Oscar Piastri crash, I didn't even know the outcome of it. Because at that point, me and my friend were just hitting each other going like, oh my god, they crashed. The knowledge of having Piastri Norris crash, which has been trending on Twitter, I want you to know, amongst the F1 Twitter community, hashtag Piastri Norris crash.
Of course, how could it not?
Knowing it was happening before I got to see it happen set me up for such joy. I was gagged and ooped. Listeners, if you didn't watch the race, Oscar is ahead of Lando. They're coming up. Lando's been on Oscar's ass for a good 10 laps. They're battling. They're scrapping. Lando gets him at one corner, but Oscar doesn't give up. They're in a head-to-head battle. Lando has newer tires, so it's a little bit of a traction race. And they're on a straight. Oscar's still ahead. And listeners, think of the width of the track. Oscar is 1/3 in, with 2/3 of the track to the right and 2/3 of the track to the left.
Yep.
And which side does Lando decide to go to?
Well,
so of course he hits Oscar, which I thought was insane. I remember watching it and going like, no, I must have like, there has to be something else going on here, because in what universe do you go to the left?
When I saw him like start moving to the left, I said absolutely not. I said he's not actually going to try that. And then he did.
And then he did.
And then he did.
And I'm like, the thing that you also run the risk of whenever you try moves that don't make any goddamn sense, but might work out, right? Is that the person in front of you is also going, what the fuck? So, like, if he had gone to the right, Oscar's probably expecting him to go there, and then, like, doesn't stick exactly where he is, and then they don't end up crashing. Because Lando went to the left, Oscar's probably like, that's weird. Is he just, like, peeking around me? And then he wasn't peeking. He was trying to go around him, so he didn't even try to, like, avoid him at all.
And clipped, I think his wing, like, clipped his tire, something like that.
Yeah, his wing clipped his tire, Lando's whole front wing went off, he hit the barriers.
Yep. And
Lando
then sat there and said, my fault, that was stupid, I don't know why. Yes. Yeah, all of the above was correct. All of the above was correct.
And the thing that really hurts about Lando is it's actually not even that much fun to rag on Lando, knowing that Lando's ragging on himself harder than I ever could. You know?
Well,
I feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him. But the problem is that he just does things where I'm like, you need to get out of your head.
What made you think that was a good idea?
He was in his head.
I mean, go to the left, do a quick cut to the right, something. I don't know. He was on the straight. He could have done that.
I feel, to be honest, to me, it screamed a little bit of desperation.
Oh,
that's exactly what it is.
It screamed desperation. And I have to beat Oscar. Because now with him, with getting that DNF, and Oscar at least finishing the race, Oscar pulling out even more and more ahead of him in the Drivers' Championship. And I personally feel like Lando feels it slipping away, and the fact that it's slipping away to his teammate is doing him in his head.
And also, I feel like
this is going to be the beginning of some stupid mistakes. Because, like, I think that Lando is a good driver, not great. I would say good. He's a decent driver. Decent.
He's a decent driver with a good car.
He's better than decent. But I also feel like he is one person you cannot trust on a week to week basis. He's one of the drivers that will have a great weekend one week, and the next week you would not be surprised if he's coming in 15. Like, he is so inconsistent. He's so in his head. He makes dumbest mistakes. And I feel like it's just showing up a lot now, more so than it has been in the past. Even though AFSA could say she's always seen it. But I think it's becoming more and more apparent to even
be 2021, baby.
The biggest
fan. I think that Lando is like, oh no, like Oscar Mike could actually really take this from me. Like he's seeing it. He's just like, oh, this could be gone.
And the thing is, that is such an understandable feeling, but you can't let it turn to desperation.
Yeah.
You gotta do the BS where you're like, pressure is a privilege to yourself. Like, that's what you gotta do. You gotta coax your own mind into being that kind of person. And the problem is, I think Lando's a lot more like a real human being who would be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Lando's also a child. How old is Lando? Oh, well, no, Lando's like 26.
Isn't Lando my age?
No, he's not.
Lando's like your age. Yeah, Lando's like her age, I would say.
Oh.
Lando Norris was born a month and a half before me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's still young. He's still young.
Of course, I'm young and youthful.
Okay.
Girl.
Right. But yeah, no,
anyway,
I think he's also seeing the hype about him from last year slipping away.
But also, I think one thing I believe is that the further Oscar pulls away, the less McLaren can sort of support
Justify.
Lando and his number one type of. Am I making? I don't know if I'm saying it rightly, but like basically,
his number one driver
being out in the lead or being closer to Oscar, they can be like, okay, well, Oscar, can you please, Lando? With that pulling away, he's losing that support, and he could potentially see a scenario where they start telling him, Lando, hey,
move for Oscar,
let Oscar through, and that's what's going to pain him.
That's going to kill him. That's going to hurt.
So.
Because Lando's ego cannot take that. Lando's ego cannot take that.
That's unfortunate, though.
You say what?
I think that's really unfortunate.
That his ego can't take that?
Well,
or...
I wonder what happens if Lando doesn't win in Miami last year and doesn't get as close to Max in the Drivers' Championship. Like, is he still... Like, I don't know. Like, would we view Lando the same way now?
What do you mean?
I don't know if I'm making much sense. Like, I feel like last year, technically, Lando over-succeeded. He wasn't supposed to be he wasn't supposed to be number 2 in the driver's standing. Like, that really wasn't. But now, because he did so well, I guess you can say, quote unquote, well, now there are all these expectations put on him that he now cannot handle. That maybe if he hadn't have come number 2 in the driver's championship, he would have been able to kind of continually, slowly progress and grow to a point where maybe this year he's actually a little bit more headstrong, a little bit more, confident in his driving ability, and you don't get as many mistakes.
Like just
I think like right now the vibe is Lando's like a failed championship contender, right? Like he is I
don't think he's really failed. He's failing. Hello?
Did Bex also drop?
Yeah, y'all both just dipped on me. I said...
Okay, I think Riverside crashed. Okay.
I mean, it's still recording on my side.
Okay, that's good. So, I'm going to pause briefly. Pause.
Yeah. I better not leave me again.
All right, listeners, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back. We're talking about Lando and his perception. I was saying, like, I don't necessarily think he is a completely failed championship contender, right? I'm sure Lando's day will come, and I'll hate that day. But, like, I think that the perception is that he is an underwhelming championship contender. Yeah. Where, like, I think if he was just a dude doing fine in his season, like, he would just be a dude doing fine in his season.
He's floundering. He's not fully failing. He hasn't fully failed. He's just, Go ahead,
I think the appropriate way to look at him, instead of being like a failed champion, is like a overly successful runner-up. I don't know if that might not be the best way to put it. No, but I really just think like it's kind of like he was playing with house money. He wasn't supposed to be there. No one expected Lando to be second in the driver's standing last year. No one expected him to be runner-up.
No one expected to be second in the standing last year.
No one expected him to, quote unquote, be a challenger up until what, Vegas was it?
Yeah.
Technically, he was still in a contention for the championship, and to be honest, when we started last year, we were like, Lando can't ever, make it out of turn one. Never won a race, and that was it. It was kind of like, ha ha he he.
But it's kind of like he won his race, and then it just like he just took that momentum and kept going. He doesn't really have that momentum this year. There isn't something that sparked that fire under his ass this year, really.
You know who I blame, though, for all of this? I think the appropriate way to look at him instead of being like a failed champion is like a background with overly sort of successful runner-up, modeled, I don't know, that might not be the best way to put it, but Lando as like this big championship. They kind of like, he was playing with house money. He wasn't supposed to be there. No one expected Lando to be second in the driver's standing last year. No one expected him to be runner-up. No one expected him to be.
It's
no one expected him to,
guys, it's kind of all that happens
quote
in the
unquote,
race.
be a challenger
They crashed.
up until
George ends up
what,
winning,
Vegas,
but
was it?
he was leading.
Technically,
Like
he was still in a contention
Can
for the
we
championship.
discuss
And
a little shining moment
when we
of the
started last year, we were
podium?
like, Lando,
which is our
can't
baby,
ever,
Kimmy
make it up
Antonelli,
one.
third
Never
youngest podium
won a race,
finisher.
and that was
We
it.
love
And
for
like,
him. I would like to invite the girlies to guess who the second youngest is.
I already know.
All right, Felicia, it's time for you to guess who the second youngest is.
The second youngest?
Yes, the first youngest, as we know, is Max.
Is Max. Is the second youngest Lewis?
Do you know who I blame, though, for all of
Who
this?
Yes.
Yes.
Have I seen them on a podium?
Zach Brown was the one who sort of, you may have not seen them on a podium, but they've been on a podium and you've seen them drive Lando as like this big championship.
Who?
Just guess a name.
Don't say Lance Stroll. Did you just say Lance Stroll? What the fuck? Did you just say when? Wait. Lance Stroll has a podium.
Lance Stroll has a podium.
Lance Stroll with the most.
Lance Stroll has 3 podiums, actually.
You have to say he has more than one.
3 podiums?
Yep, he finished
in Formula
third
1,
place
not Formula
in
2.
Formula 1.
Snap.
Please tell me. Do tell. Because
I already know. When you look back at history, if it wasn't for Lewis and Nico, there was a good chance that Lance would have been the youngest driver, and he would have held the record. Take a wild guess. Lewis and Nico crashed. I always forget what race it is. And you may have not seen them on a podium, but they've been on a podium and you've seen them drive. No, take that back.
That's when Max wins. Max has been on the podium before that.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
But yes, Lance Stroll got a third place at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017. Fun fact. When he was driving for Williams.
Right?
Huh?
He was like 18.
Yeah. 18 in 239 days.
I like how they break it up.
Yep.
I have to say, he has more than one. Lance was not the joke when he first came in.
Yeah. But that's,
So it wasn't until his daddy got involved that he decided to be the truest form of a Nepo baby?
When you look back at history, if it wasn't
he said he was at Williams.
Lewis,
it's just like, he's fine,
Nico.
Like, I think
there was a good chance that Lance would have been the youngest driver. Always need someone in the midfield, and you always need someone who held the record.
This is true.
Lewis and Nico crashed. I always forget what race it is. And that's
only
when
20 people
Max
can
wins his first.
say that they
wait. No, take that back.
Are in the F1 on the F1 grid. So
yeah. Sorry, my bad.
I thought he was fine. But sorry. Anyway, back to Kimmy Antonelli. We love him. Congrats, baby. Long time coming. Future baby goat.
I think he was like 18, right?
On the radio after he went, I was like, oh, Kimmy's excited.
He was like 18.
I was like, oh, he can't even have a drink to celebrate. Well, no, I guess he can. They're in Europe. Or
they're in Canada. So he can drink.
He can have a drink to celebrate his win. Good job, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forget the rest of the world is not like America when it comes to
the joke when he first came in.
I agree.
How American of me. Excuse me.
Tea. But yeah, it was great. I look forward to seeing more future podiums from Kimmy Antonelli. So shout out, baby goat.
I know he, did his thing, but yet again,
always need someone in the midfield, and you always need someone in the bottom.
That man came bounding out onto the stage.
I actually didn't watch the podium because I wanted to go home, so I actually have not seen.
Understandable. No, because everyone else comes out and the thumbs up and all of that, and then here comes George.
I enjoy his enthusiasm.
Huh?
I enjoy his enthusiasm for the podium.
I'm just glad we didn't get a yabba dabba do. Honestly, that's all I'm happy about.
I'm glad we didn't get a yabba dabba do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Kimmy was talking about how he could see the McLarens in his rear view fighting it out.
Insane.
It's cute. It's cute.
But all right, that was the Canadian Grand Prix. Our next Grand Prix is Austria, which at this point is next week. I will be in Rehoboth so I will be watching from my phone. But
You'll be where?
Rehoboth, Delaware Beach. Beach vacation.
Delaware. Oh, I'm thinking Hoboken. I don't know why I was thinking Hoboken and Rehoboth.
Beach trip with the baddies.
I will be
watching, but
I won't be able to watch this race live either.
Well, I'll be watching live. I'll just be in Delaware.
Sorry. Okay, I'll be.
Unlike you, I'll bring my phone. I watch F1 everywhere. Notably, that TikTok clip of like, it's your grandma's funeral. It's Monaco Grand Prix. Literally. Yeah.
I will be in church, so
I'll watch it when I watch it.
Because I probably will be on stage at the time.
I didn't watch Quali in real time, this last one.
So proud.
Yeah, for you.
And I watched the race like shortly after.
Yes. All right, baddies. Well, as is going to be the case all summer, our pop culture end of pod, we're talking Love Island, baby.
Sorry, honey, I can't participate.
If we talk Love Island in depth, we're going to sit here. Wait, Felicia, are you watching Love Island?
You'll be there?
I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to it.
Not yet.
You realize this is a voting show, girl. You got to tune in so you can vote.
I haven't voted. Yeah. I need to catch up.
I will be.
I haven't done anything.
I won't be able to watch this live either.
Listen, I was driving a bus this weekend, girl. I ain't got time for half. Okay,
I'll be. Girl, put an earbud in and listen to recap podcast if you need to.
While I'm on a bus. Driving a bus.
Do you not listen to music while you drive? Or podcast while you drive?
Actually, it is a party bus, so I will be in church. Speakers blasting, so everyone could listen to it.
And the only reason
and they would
because I probably will be on stage. I'm just saying if you need to like watch an episode or two, then maybe watch some recaps to catch up, or listen to the recap. Podcast recap.
I'm gonna watch them. Don't worry.
Anyway, Felicia, you're gonna get some spoilers in this conversation between me and Bex because we're covering.
Oh, I've already gotten plenty of spoilers.
Okay, we're gonna do it quick, nasty, and dirty though. We're gonna go couple by couple that's currently in the villa because nobody cared about Beldashin. I love Beldashin. But we're not talking about Beldashin.
Not yet.
Okay, is that really how that child says her name?
No, I think it's Bella.
Oh, that's how she spells it. That's not how
she spells it Beldasha. But I think her name is Bella.
Dash up. Yeah, it is Bella.
I've heard way too many people calling this poor child Beldasha, and I said, please tell me this thing calls it
Beldasha. Girl, put an earbud in and listen to recap. Bella. Like,
all right, we're gonna talk about.
Do you not listen to music while you drive?
We're gonna just start off the top with what's gonna take up the majority of our discussion.
Can you give me a visual?
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'm just saying if you need to watch an episode or two, then maybe you can watch some recaps to catch up, or listen to the recap, podcast recap.
We're gonna start here. This is Huda and Jeremiah.
Yes.
Brief intro on Huda and Jeremiah. Fun fact: we know nothing about Jeremiah.
No, I actually found out more on his TikTok this past week than I know through the show.
And as somebody who does not watch TikTok anymore, I don't know anything about Jeremiah. So the only things we know from Jeremiah from the show are that he likes foreigns and Latinas. That's all we know. And I'm not saying that to make fun of him. Out his mouth, he said, "I like foreigns and Latinas."
See.
That's it.
So crazy.
The only thing we know about Jeremiah is that he likes foreigns and Latinas, which somebody brought up the great question on Twitter about with the way that Jeremiah and Huda communicated with each other, does he think Huda's Latina?
Her name alone is a giveaway, honey.
I know, but I don't think he's...
Not if you're not well-rounded to know. Like, there are a lot of people who might think, ooh, Huda. Like, they might just think,
Exactly. So we have Jeremiah. We don't know nothing about him. But then there's Huda. She's a mom.
Yes.
A mommy. Mamacita? A mommy? No, I'm a mommy. A mamacita?
No, I actually found out
no way.
This past week than I know through the show.
That's not what he said. That's what the guy, one of her friends, his friends that she told in the villa said. And I quote,
"Do you want to be Nick? I'll be. No, you be Huda. I'll be Nick."
Okay. I have something to tell you.
Yep.
I'm a mom.
A what?
I'm a mom.
A mom? Like a mamacita?
No, I'm a mommy.
Of what? A dog?
No.
I have a daughter.
Boy or girl?
No, I think he said in real life.
Oh yeah, he said but he did say boy or girl. He did, because I was like, is he not listening to her?
Yeah.
She just said she had a daughter, and then he went and asked boy or girl. Well-rounded to know. But he did say in real life. He did say in real life. And then she like, they made their daughter, and he was like, a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
Like,
Notably, when she told this guy, Felicia, which is when sometimes watching Love Island lets me see how my sisters get played, because I'm like, that didn't immediately raise a red flag for you? When she told him, hey, I'm a mom, he went, you're a mom? And she went, yeah. At 24? And she went, yeah. And I'm like, that's that man's way of telling you
want to be Nick,
what you just said to him is
no,
crazy.
you be Huda, I'll be Nick.
And you needed to dip the second you heard a question mark at the end of his sentence.
Yep.
A what?
This is
when
how you get
said
played.
a mamacita, you should have gotten nothing.
A mom? Like a
well,
mama
that's a different guy. That's her friend.
That's a different guy.
Oh.
Different guy.
Of what? A dog?
Okay.
No, the person we were just making fun of, that's not the guy she's coupled up with. Yeah. That's just another guy.
So this one is the one who was shook. That
this is the one who went, you're a mom?
He said, no, but he did say boy or
24?
girl.
Yes,
yeah. He did. That was like the thing. I was like, if you're not listening to her,
also like, what, 25?
Daughter, and then he
something like that.
Boy
I can
or
pull
girl.
it up real quick.
But he did say in real life. He did say in real life.
Okay, TLDR
and she's like, yeah,
on
my
this
mom
couple
have a daughter.
for you,
And he was
Felicia.
like, a boy or a girl?
Mm-hmm.
She's like,
because there's a
daughter.
So Jeremiah and Huda, okay, when we
Jeremiah's
open the season,
25, Huda's 27.
Okay.
24, sorry.
Let's say she's 24. When we open up the season, they, instead of doing the normal thing where it's like, girls, step forward for the guy that you, instead of doing that,
yeah,
they had the girls each kiss two guys and then choose one of those guys to couple up with.
They get to choose who they want to kiss.
Yes. So she kissed Jeremiah and some other guy, and she chose Jeremiah. They were so locked in immediately that when this girl Ulissa, we're not even going to talk about Ulissa. When this girl, when this girl Ulissa went to go kiss him, he turned his cheek and asked for a cheek kiss.
So the guy, the person we were just making fun of, that's not the guy she's 2 minutes into meeting each other.
Another guy on the villa,
right? So Huda kissed Jeremiah, right? In the same challenge, he turned cheek.
Not even a challenge. This is just them introducing them.
Intro.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The same whatever
something like that.
They've been in the villa for 30 minutes.
30
and he's
minutes.
already turning cheek.
Right? So they immediately start love bombing each other. Immediately. They're being like, I know we're not closed off,
24, sorry.
And then all this stuff, they're talking about, oh, well,
I know we're not closed off. I know I met you 2 hours ago.
Right? Oh, well, I would want to live in the same city when we leave this. Da-da-da-da. Like, all this stuff. They get to choose, right? Super closed off. Super, super duper closed off. And I'm on team for the first... up until she talks about the kid, I think that Jeremiah is actually the toxic one here and is love bombing the crap out of her.
Yeah.
In these opening days. And then he finds out about the kid, and you can tell that he's still his toxic self. But he's reconsidering things, but refusing to actually communicate that. Right? He's acting like all's good. But he's clearly reconsidering. Yeah. And so this is where you start to see
not even a challenge, just them introducing them.
Anxious attachment styles start to bring out the toxic a little bit more, because he's clearly pulling back. Like, evidently pulling back. He's still doing all this stuff, but, like, he's pulling back, you know? Because we even get one conversation that I think is super, super relevant to exactly how their relationship dynamic works. They are talking at night. And, like, just talking at night. And she goes, when we leave the villa, are you going to share your location with me?
Girl, I was going to say, are you going to mention that?
Day 6. Day 6.
There are people I've known my whole entire life I haven't shared my location with.
Come on. Come on.
Day 6. And so that's where everybody's like,
Day 6 is
okay,
crazy.
They're being weirdos. Like, they're being strange.
Yeah.
And so this all culminates in us getting a vote, because there's some new bomb. Oh, so like, also critically, Huda acts ridiculous whenever there's a bombshell that comes in that dares to speak to Jeremiah. Calling everybody everything but a child of God. Every woman in this villa that's even looked at Jeremiah has been called a bitch 7 times. This girl, Maya, all she did was kiss Jeremiah in a challenge. Like, she's a bombshell. She has to kiss him in the challenge. Yeah. She was flipping Amaya off, calling her all kinds of bitches, bitch.
She doesn't
until
know
Amaya was like,
I'm a mommy.
yeah. Until Amaya was like, oh, I'm not into Jeremiah. That's when she was like, oh my god, yeah, we're friends, we're sisters. And I'm like, you my sister, and you were calling me a bitch to everybody who would listen.
Exactly.
Girl, I was gonna say, are you gonna mention?
So this all culminates because we have a new bombshell. Yeah, we have a new bombshell named Iris come in.
There are people I've known my whole entire life. I haven't shared my location.
We are allowed to vote who we want the bombshells to couple up with. Of course, America's messy ass. No. We vote for Iris and Jeremiah to couple up.
Of course, Natch.
So, and mind you, in the days coming up to this, Jeremiah and Huda have been fighting because Huda has this thing where Huda clearly spends a lot of her time on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Huda does that thing where you are a girls feminist, but also have extremely strict standards for what makes a man viable and makes a man a man. And so she frames every disagreement and argument she has with Jeremiah as, if you were a real man, or a real man does this,
she doesn't know.
I want you to do this.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's like, you can just say that you want him to be more spontaneous.
Yep.
You don't have to call his manhood into it.
Like, honestly, you could just be like, you know what, I see for my future person someone who's a bit more spontaneous.
Exactly. You could easily do that. Easy.
Leave it at that. And I think less pressure on him being like, oh, you expect me to be.
Exactly.
Anyway,
critical argument that comes up that really frames all of this before going into the recoupling. Jeremiah is making Huda breakfast as the men on the island, and he brings her a pancake that is not fully cooked all the way through. Upsetting. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna go fix myself some breakfast. So she goes into the kitchen, she's fixing herself breakfast, and she, unbeknownst to all the viewers and Jeremiah, asks one of the other guys, hey, who's already cooking breakfast, like, oh, hey, can you cook me breakfast too?
Yeah.
The guy's like, cool, whatever. Makes her breakfast. Jeremiah comes in the middle of the breakfast cooking where Huda and this other guy are cooking breakfast together. One of their friends. And he, like, makes himself some tea. And then, like, Huda has her breakfast, right? And Huda's pissed because she's like, how could you let another man make your girl breakfast? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Mind you, Jeremiah doesn't know at this point that Huda asked this guy. It's not like Huda was sitting there slaving away by herself and, like, crying and needing help and Jeremiah ignored her. Like, that's not what happened. Like, so they have a whole argument about it. Because Huda's just like, if you were really my man, you would do this, you would do that, you would have made me the breakfast, you would have never let another man make me breakfast.
Ew.
All this stuff. They're crashing out like crazy. Like, they have multiple other arguments over the course of the next day. America obviously votes Jeremiah and Iris to get together this new bombshell.
Yes.
All hell breaks loose. Because Huda almost gets eliminated. Jeremiah talks to everybody but Huda. He argues with his boys who voted for Huda. He goes to talk to Iris. He goes to talk to the one guy who didn't vote for Huda. It doesn't speak to Huda at all that night. That she almost just got eliminated. So Huda, obviously, crashes out a little. So she's in the shower.
A little.
Mind you, sorry, for context, the night before Jeremiah and Huda got split up, they had sex. Critical.
That's another thing I've heard. There's a lot of fucking in the room, and
not that much compared to, like, regular Love Island UK.
Yeah.
Really?
Love Island UK season 2.
The stuff you would see, you'd be like, y'all show that on TV?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, we'll send you some clips of Love Island UK season 2 because they were wild.
Oh my god.
Yes, but
y'all
anyway,
in a room with 82 other people. Anyway, go ahead.
And that's the problem with UK. Like, they were not at all shy.
No. So Huda crashes out a little bit in the shower. She's talking to her friend, and she's like, "He's a bitch. He's a liar. America was trying to save me from him. Da 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 da. My future husband would never.
America trying to save you,
right? My future husband would never. All this stuff." Jeremiah's in the hallway. He can hear all of it. And so they continue to have fallout over the next day. Huda's really upset that he didn't come talk to her. They get into a whole argument about that. And then eventually he gets sent on a date with Iris, the new bombshell. And when he comes back, Huda's really upset. They don't really talk. And he goes to debrief his date with the guys. And he starts talking about, well, I didn't really talk to Huda yesterday because I didn't want to. I think I'm done with her. We're cooked. Like, honestly, I kind of
The
wish she
stuff
got
you would
sent
see,
home
you'd be
because
like,
the way that she
Jesus,
reacted to the
y'all
whole
should on
thing,
TV.
calling me names, and da-da-da-da-da. Huda overhears the whole thing.
Of course.
With him saying, I wish she got sent home. I'm going to explore with this new girl. I'm done with Huda. Mind you, he has not spoken to Huda at all.
And that's the problem
He has
with
not mentioned this to Huda
they
at
were
all.
not at all shy.
And, oh gosh. There's another guy, one of the guys who voted for Huda, who is trying to point out, like, hey, the reason we voted for Huda is because we felt like, at least on one of you guys' sides, maybe both, it was a bit fast and disingenuous. Like, you were locking in early to try and, like, make a play for a win versus, like, really liking each other.
Yes.
And so the guy is trying to defend Huda, being like, if you like Huda the way that you're saying you do when you were yelling at us yesterday for almost voting her out, right? You were talking about how locked in you two are, and how could you this, and how could you that. But today, you don't give a fuck about her, and you don't want to check on her?
Yep.
Do you see why we thought that you were lying yesterday? Like,
yep.
Doesn't make any sense. So Huda hears Jeremiah arguing with this guy, being like, well, I would have checked on her if I wanted to, but I didn't want to. All this stuff. Huda hears and walks by and is like, by all means, explore. Starts crashing out. Calling him a pussy-ass bitch. He's a bitch. Like, all this stuff I'm sure they had to cut to. I'm sure they had to cut some of what he was saying.
Just like how last year they probably had to cut Serena a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how they had to cut Serena, they had to cut Huda. And so she's screaming, storming around the villa, like flipping him up. Absolute insanity. All of this eventually ends with them decoupling. He ends up choosing Iris again in a recoupling. Huda is now single and vulnerable.
Oh.
And it's a crash out of the century, truly. And the thing with it is, it's not... Serena was, like, self-aware, right?
Yeah.
Where, one, Serena had really done nothing. But also, two, Serena was self-aware. She was like, the main thing that's pissing me off is that you're flip-flopping and you're, like, not being consistent. Huda... I don't think Huda fully grasped that she did anything wrong in this situation.
She didn't.
Huda does not think she did anything wrong.
And I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of the girls kind of understood what the reason why America voted the way they did.
Yeah.
But they definitely, I personally feel like they were handling her kid gloves and were almost trying to like quell her, be like, oh girl, you're right, you sure right, he ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. And that added more fuel to her fire. And
the problem with dealing with somebody like Huda, though, is that she's truly delusional, right?
Yeah.
Landria tried at the beginning of the season
to
be like she just tried to check Huda when Huda was being delusional about Jeremiah, where she was basically saying like, "Oh, y'all need real men like mine," and Landria was like, one of the other girls was like, "Chill, we're good." Right? And Huda starts crying. She's like, I didn't even mean that. Right? So it's like, there's no talking reason into somebody like Huda. So there's no reason to like try and like actually confront her about it. And you even see the girls later try to be like, maybe you should name call him less. And she's just like, well, I was crashing out, so it doesn't matter. And then later, one of the other girls tries to be like, okay, so you crashed out on him. Y'all are in all these in and out fights, in and out arguments, and you still want to be with him.
I'm not gonna lie.
So what are your non-negotiables? Like, what are the things
I'm
that
not
make
gonna lie.
you actually
A lot
cut
of
him
the,
off? If
I
this
think a
thing
lot
that
of the
made you
girls
react
kind
this
of
way won't make you cut
understood
him off.
what.
And she's like, I don't want to talk about it.
The
and it's
reason
like, okay,
why
well,
America
that's
voted the way
what
they
people are talking
did.
about when they say that like you're unreasonable and you can't reason with
kid gloves,
is that you do
and
things
we're almost
like
trying to like quell her.
And
like,
so,
oh girl, you're right. You sure right. He ain't shit. Blah 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 blah.
Is the fact that even as she's apologizing to Jeremiah, even as she apologizes to Iris, even as she like tries to like seem reasonable, I don't think she actually grasps that she did anything wrong.
No, she does not.
I think she's like, this is not going the way I want it to.
Yes.
So clearly, I've gone about this approach the wrong way to get what I want. Versus, no, you doing the like calling every woman a bitch for the crime of looking at your man on Love Island is you not being nice to them. Not something that you can rescind via the act of just being like, oh, we're sisters now, you know?
My bad. Sorry, friend.
I think for me, one of the biggest issues with that I don't even think both of them fully understand is that they were actually interfering with the game.
Yes.
With the show that is Love Island. Like, the girls would not pick Jeremiah for challenges because Crash Out Queen Huda was going to have some over-the-top response. Like, it was like it was like one challenge where they were supposed to, like, out of the 7 or 8 guys, choose one guy, like, basically choose one person for home base. like all the bases. So like who someone you want to be with first base, second base, third base, and home base is the person you want to couple up with.
Okay.
None of the girls chose Jeremiah. It wasn't until the two bombshells came in that they chose Jeremiah, but none of the girls wanted him because they just didn't want to do it. And
they don't want that problem.
And then also too, like, I actually think one of the other guys, Ace, was actually interested in Huda. He never went and actually had a conversation because Huda was just like, no, I found my man. I found my husband. I found the future father of my children. Like,
oh, wow.
Or the father of my child. Like, she was very much like, we're loved up. And also, one of the biggest issues with Huda had her daughter. I don't even think both of them fully understand that. Which they were actually interfering with the game. With the show, that emotional stage at which she's been like, the girls would not pick Jeremiah for challenges. She very much moves because like a teenager. Queen Huda was going to have some over the top response. It was like it definitely feels like homegirl at 19, which is kind of funny because one guy like Huda made a comment earlier in the season that she and Jeremiah were the most emotionally mature couple and home base in the couple up with, and she would call them the mom and dad of the villa. It wasn't until the two bombshells came in. I don't know why she would open her mouth to say certain things like that, but none of the girls wanted, and it was very much because they just didn't want to do it, and then and then also too, like, but I actually they've been entertaining. One of the other guys, Ace, was actually interested.
They've been something else. So
he never went
and actually had a conversation because Huda was just like, mystery to you.
I found my man. I found my husband. I found the future father of my children.
Like all this time,
the father of my child.
Oh,
she was very much like.
We spent a 2-hour podcast on that alone.
And also, let's skip some stuff. One thing
exactly, we skipped actually.
Huda had her daughter at 19,
which plenty to listen to, plenty to watch. With Love Island, tap us in as you watch live WhatsApp us.
Been like,
oh my god!
But yeah, listeners,
she's very much
next week is Austria. Like you'll be hearing this as I edit it tomorrow morning, so you'll be getting on Monday. We got great review, subscribe, listen, share it with your friends, send to your friend who you watch Love Island.
Which is kind of funny
watch Love Island every day.
Huda made a comment earlier in the season that she and Jeremiah were the most emotionally mature couple in the villa, and she called them the mom and dad of the villa. Why? I don't know why she would open her mouth to say certain things like that, but she did, and it was very much not true. But yeah, so there are a lot, but they've been entertaining. Yeah. Yeah. They are the main ones. So we've skipped some stuff, to be honest. Bye. Okay, but real quickly after, let me ask you a question. Who did you vote for favorite girl, favorite guy? Okay. So I am too, but for me, I voted a little bit more strategic. I voted Ace Shelly because I felt like they were not going to get votes, and I would definitely want Ace and Shelly to stay. You don't? Yeah. But I think there's one couple that... No, never mind. They didn't work. Yeah. 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 Yeah, for me, yeah. I think it would take I personally feel like for me, my main girl that I really am rooting for most of all is Alondria. I would love to see Alondria, but I feel like the only way she's gonna win is she dumps Taylor. If she couples back up with Taylor after Costa, I'm done. I can't support I can't yeah. I like Nick. I actually like Sierra. I don't know if I like them together though. I know they their conversation with the bombshell that just came in have been better than all their conversations together. So I know, right? I was just thinking about that. Bye. Whatever.